Welcome to IDT Connect. Please enter your conference ID followed by the pound key. Welcome to the conference room. Please enter your password. At the tone, please record your name followed by the pound key.
PALTIEL.
Thank you. Your next participant number 1.
Okay. Okay, we finished the top section, as I recall it. And the big emphasis in this whole discussion is not focused on the Iyar, it's focused on the Keli. Because the differences in the Iyar, Milo Mato in the Iyar, is not due to the Iyar, it is due to the Keli. The Iyar function in this scenario, so to speak, is the principle that the Iyar is an Iyar Pnimi. That the Iyar has this in its very conceptualization, its very design, that it can be mislabish in a keli. Mislabish in a keli in the full sense of the word. That it embraces the keli and fully relates to it. It is not just touching it, so to speak, superficially. Because of this quality, the Keli reveals the various levels that can be revealed from the Keli, from the Iyar. And in chochmah, the Keli is very fine, very dakos. And that's why in chochmah there is the brilliance of the Iyar. In bina, the keli is at a lower level, and that's why in bina the Iyar is not as brilliant and as refined. And yet, still, even in bina, we said that there is the AYIN of nekudas atamtzis. That ultimately, even in Bina, there is that moment where there's a sensitivity to the Nakuda, rather than to the elaboration of the Indian, how Kalim would take it. The principle of Nakuda versus elaboration is, Nakuda is how it comes from the Iyar. Elaboration is how it relates to the Keli. Because the whole phenomenon of elaboration is how does that reflect in the world, and the worldly arena, and the worldly level. As for example, how would a person act with or without Sechel? This is where you identify the Sechel in the Keli. It is not what hovers in the person's mind. It is how it manifests itself in his behavior. One extremely significant aspect of Sechel, and what in fact enables a person to behave in a supreme manner because of Sechel, it is due to the principle that Sechel lifts a person off the ground. Like it says over here, he completely negates, disregards all the worldly application that is interpreted from the Sechel. It's looking for the Nakuda. Sechel, as we mentioned many times over these days, is a neshama inyan. Neshama is that which comes milmaila. And if it comes milmaila, it is limitless. It has its own reality, its own truth. It's not dependent on being accepted. It is its own truth.
And that somehow fits with being inside a keli.
Excuse me?
And that somehow fits with being vested inside a keli. Sechel is unto itself. It seeks the point. But
that enables it. That enables it to be in a keli while at the same time be in the level of Sechel.
I'm getting this. Seemingly it would from this attribute here of seeking the point, seemingly that would be the inclination to leave the keli, to return to essence.
Yeah, well, that's where we go back and forth. That's what we said initially. It's an essential quality in the Sechel. In Iyar, is that it is an Iyar pnimi.
Oh, and that attribute speaks to desiring to be within a vessel?
That's right.
Oh.
And relating to a vessel.
While at the same time...
While at the same time it is aloof and superior.
Okay.
The motion for this, for us, and the most obvious and tangible manner is like a person standing up on the Empire State Building and looking down. He sees everything there is to see, but he's not limited by it. He sees how everything is part of a bigger reality, but it's very real. To the extent that he can actually give guidance from on top there, how to maneuver down there. Okay. I'm reading the end of the line before the last on this top section on page AYIN. בכל זה הוא שלפי איפן הכלי מאיר בהם האור רגיל. This entire description that we said about the Kudas HaTamchit and so forth is due to the fact that the oil is made לפי איפן הכלי. We should not forget, lose sight of the oil. It is not the keli that's functioning, it is the oil that is functioning. But the oil so perfectly relates to keli that it functions according to the keli. And it is meir. Meir means it illuminates. Coming back, as I said, to Am Sholim. When a human being behaves on the physical arena, he sits on the table. Halacha says that when you eat, you have to sit in one place. That's halacha. What is sitting on the plates have to do with halacha? Halacha is oyer. The answer is that the oil is mislabish in the keli, and this is when the oil expresses itself in its true glory, so to speak, and in this arena. To the extent that if a human being eats standing up, walking around, what's wrong with that? He's only eating. It's a violation of his neshama. Because the union of neshama is that it should relate to the environment where it is. Understand the environment and embrace it and affect it. This is what neshama is. Bringing it home, I am bound to say this. In a home, it's not enough to stand aloof and be ruchnis. You have to influence the home. You have to bring the impact of the neshama onto this home and elevate and bring light onto the kelim of the home. This is what the neshama is seeking, not to be unaffected. To be unaffected is not a neshama thing. Odom she'eino bais any odom. To be a stranger in your own home is not a home. Okay, having said that, let's continue further. Okay, the second section on page AYIN Dalet. V'chein hamidos, similarly the midos. Midos means, like we said, ahava and gvura, chesed and gvura. Midos is how a person behaves under certain circumstances. Just to give it, so to speak, a precise translation, midah means measurement. Just like we said the other day, that a pail of water is not water in a keli. Why not? You can carry the water. There is no measurement recognizable in this water. It's just a presence of water. And when it's a cup, it is measured according to its functionality. Then it's a midah. Same as in when you did Sechel versus midah. Sechel definitely illuminates the reality. But then that Sechel has to be put into precise kelim on a functional level. This is midas. Sha'akelim heim b'bchinas metzius dover. Where the kelim in midas, of midas, are at the stage and have this quality of metzius dover. Metzius dover, the keli is a real presence. The keli is not merely telling you what the Sechel is saying. The keli actually experiences the impact of the Sechel. Ubemurgesh beyoser. And very and extremely, murgosh means it is personally experienced. When murgosh, he feels it. Meaning, in kelim, if the Sechel argues that this is the right way to behave, immediately he says, not, this is how I behave. This is right. This is not true, this is right. The klolus inyan hamidus hu inyan, for the klolus inyan, the overall principle, and inyan means the purpose of midus. Hu inyan is the inyan of hergesh atzmoi, is the sensing of himself. The hainu, what does sensing himself mean? Hergesh mitziusoi, the sense of his own presence. He's a real presence. This is why we mentioned lately that if a child is kind of being downgraded and not recognized in the importance of his presence, his midah should not develop because he doesn't have hergesh atzmai. How I feel is insignificant. So he is speaking from a theoretical level rather than from a personal, actual level. Midas is hergesh metzius. He senses that he is a real metzius. In this metzius shines the Iyar HaSechel. And therefore this metzius is now appreciating the real good things according to the influence and the impact of Sechel, of the Nefesh. If it were given carte blanche, so to speak, just as if it sees, who knows how it would react. It would be reflected. If the emphasis would be just I'm here, then it had to create a monster.
The initial metzius, the initial identity, we just said came on the basis of midas. Could not come any other way, could not come on the basis of or.
The Iyar has to settle in kelim.
And kelim means midas.
Kelim ultimately is in midas.
Yeah.
Even before the midas, the Sechel has to settle in kelim means that it is not enough that I have the concept. How was the application of the concept? How does that translate on the worldly arena?
Right. And if we look at the child example, it's necessity that the child has his own childlike midos, and then into that identity comes or. And there's no way that a child's identity would be based on his real or, his real neshama. It has to first be on the basis of childish midos. That's his first identity.
True, and yet not really true. It is true that it's on the basis of his personal presence. But his personal presence is immediately, and the personal presence is also given to him by the neshama and the sechel. Except that initially he identifies only with the personal aspect. It's still given to him by the sechel, by the neshama. Let me explain. The very will to be and to live is a gift milmayla. It's a neshama parameter. Without the goof, I'd stay in bed a whole day.
So that's okay. And when the child's being so-called willful or has his childish midos, that is also has an element of
neshama, no question about it.
And yet, it sort of lacks maturity, and now into that initial identity comes more or.
Comes more oil, exactly. But when you give him the oil, he relates to it instantaneously. Oh yeah, that's right. Because the midas also are created by the oil, effectively. But the emphasis over there is mugesh atzmai, to bring the oil down to a worldly presence, to mitzias. You cannot bang in a nail if you are on the level of neshama. To bang in a nail, you have to not only be able to pick up a hammer, but feel the presence of a hammer in your hand. And apply to it the appropriate direction, appropriate force.
What this nail in the hammer is a mashal showing us that
the action of the midah.
The action of a midah.
Which is illuminated by given the Sechel, because when you bang in a nail, you bang in a nail in a precise manner.
Here, midah stands for keli.
Midas, the word midas means measurement. It means measuring the oil hanefesh.
It's the
but the purpose of measuring it is in order that it should manifest in the keli.
It's the means by which or gets into kelim. Okay.
And ultimately, he becomes chesed and gvura.
And this, what you said about sensing the hammer, its weight and how to use it, is a mashal for the way that the aura has to so finely sense the best.
That's a completely sense the best.
Okay.
Otherwise, he'll be banging away. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
And this is called Hergesh Atzmi, Hergesh Mitziyusai. The Hergesh of his own presence. Again, we have to emphasize and clearly understand. This Hergesh Mitziyusai is not that he has an independent Mitziyus. God forbid he should seek to be an independent Mitziyusai as it is given to him from God, from the truth. This is the, and you always say, the misinterpretation what the psychology observes in a human being. He wants to be himself. He wants to be himself, but not independent of the truth. You understand him only from that angle. That's why you lead him in the wrong direction. Because there is only one true Metzius, the source of all Metzius. The mashal that we have for this, phenomenal mashal. If you give a person all his personal needs for 120 years and pack it up in a capsule and send the capsule out of space, have you satisfied his desire of Hergesh Mitziyusai? He is the sole boss over here. He's got everything he wants. He can possibly want. Hergesh Mitziyusai means within the reality itself, within the true reality. Why am I here for? To satisfy my mitzvahs, that's Hergesh Mitziyusai. Ukmei ho'avo. As for example, ahava. Shazehu shoyev eze davar. He loves something. What does this oyev eze davar mean? What does it manifest? Zehu mipnei, and that is due to the fact shemargi shetzatzim. Meaning that the oyev eze davar is due to the fact that margi shetzatzmoi, he feels his own presence. Umargish, and thus he feels also he's margish the phenomenon. The expression we already discussed one time. The word eich means how, not that. That it is good, that is a Sechel statement. Eich is how. How means not the Sechel, but he feels the exact phenomenon and the experience of it being good for him. Magish eich shehadover tevil fonav. How this union is good for him. Again, since we are medayik like this, I want to explain the word lefonav. Toiv lefonav, it's good for him. What does it mean? It's good for him. Toiv loy. What does lefonav mean? Lefonav means the direction he's going to. In his front, the direction he's going to. It's good in that direction that he's seeking to go. There is no good for him in a stationary state. In a capsule, there's nothing is good for him. How this thing is good before him, in front of him. Meaning in the leading, helping him to lead and go in the direction he needs to go. So then he's misoyer, he's aroused with a feeling of ahava, of love. Because this truly empowers him to accomplish his goals. And substantiates his presence in the world and the goal of his life. Isn't that something, if you're careful translating the words, you have a completely different presentation? Okay, Iyar, should we go on? Hello? You ready?
Just time-wise, I need to start wrapping up.
Okay. So let Ahava be the focus of today. Not a bad focus.
Thank you, PALTIEL. Good morning, everyone.
Have a great day. Anybody else there? We'd appreciate a good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, Shleima. Good morning to you. You always want to know that your phone number, you're not alone, isolated over here on the capsule.
We're never alone.